Columbia, the capital of South Carolina. And folks, this should be a great matchup between these teams. And now we bring you the coin toss, and it's presented by Nissan. Innovation that excites.
And how we doing, everybody? Happy Thursday. Hopefully a dry one, so to speak, with the storm on its way, at least here for me in Sumter. Obviously, we got a little bit to talk about with the National Signing Day yesterday. And I already see somebody in the chat already talking about it. Yeah, turning his LOI, it's, yeah, I'm not lying. It is. I don't understand it, man. If this was just something simple and something easy, an easy mistake, you know, it would have been corrected by now. And all we get is radio silence. Literally nobody knows what's going on outside of, you know, Birch's inner circle. And I mean, they wanted it that way. That's their, you know, he's got a decision to make, but we'll see. I think the longer this drags out, I don't like our chances. As far as wind, oh yeah, I had left work, went in my car, wind was already starting to pick up. There we go. And as everybody sees, we have big game Garnet for this game, for a night game against Tennessee Volunteers, trying to get to 5-1 before our open date. Hopefully the defense plays a lot better than they played against Florida Monday night. Jordan Birch a Gamecock yet? Yeah, I wish. I keep waiting to sign in and log in on the internet and just see it like it's official. I don't know. Nobody knows. That's the crazy thing. Orgeron promising a lifetime supply of mud pugs. Yeah, there's no telling, man. Yeah, LSU's the only other school in it, as far as I know. I don't think Georgia ever really factored in. I think Clemson backed off. It's us and LSU. Get on him. Tackle, please. Is that a fumble? Oh, that's crazy. How is that a fumble? But no, I posted a thing out on Twitter responding to somebody that my big thing with this whole thing is like Jordan Birch has, yeah, I figured it in challenges. Anyway, Jordan Birch has every right to go where he wants to go. It's his decision, you know. It's his decision. Nobody's questioning that. The thing is why the dog and pony show? Why do you make an announcement that you're gonna, you know, commit to somebody? Well, not commit, but make your announcement that you're going to announce your college choice in December. We get there. He commits. It's fourth down, isn't it? He commits to South Carolina, puts on a Gamecock hat. He does not sign in the early signing period. Fair enough. You know, a lot of people were a little uneasy about that, and, you know, it is what it is. So he says he wants to sign with his teammates at Hammond. He wants to sign with his friends and his teammates. Fair enough. Kid can do exactly what he wants to do. No, you know that I understood it. I respected that. Then we get to yesterday. Everybody's ready for the announcement. Everybody's holding their breath. Us or LSU. Hammond puts out his nameplate that says Jordan Birch, University of South Carolina, has a picture of him in Gamecock uniform. Man, I'm gonna get blown up here. How? How did I get through that? Ryan Holinsky. Anyway, sorry. And he comes out wears a Carolina hat. Everybody's probably seen the video by now. He signed something. He was filling out something. And he paraded around in Carolina hat, and he left the building like it's all good. And then we find out a little bit later it wasn't all good. You know, that it wasn't. And that's my thing. Why the charade? Why the dog and pony show with going through all of this if you're not sure? That's my question in it. I don't understand it. I don't think anybody does at this point. Nobody's gonna know till he actually comes out and signs a letter of intent. You got a good feeling about it. I hope you're right. I'm still trying to remain optimistic. I'm going to get sacked. Oh, wow. There's Dak Joyner, baby. Had a big game against the Gators. Following up with a big TD here. 70 yards, boys. If he comes to Columbia, will he be better than Clowney? I don't know. That's a tough task that's a tough shoes for anybody to fill. Clowney, no disrespect to Birch. Clowney, you see it. I mean, I've never seen somebody that size, that big, that could move that fast. And he showed that even now in the NFL years later. He's a freak. He's a once in a probably 20 years. Once every 20 years, somebody like that comes along. And can Jordan Birch be good? Absolutely. Jordan Birch I think has a tremendous upside. He's got size. He can move. Will he be better than Clowney? I don't know. I don't know that, to be honest. That's a tough one to answer. I think he comes in. He will be an immediate contributor. Sure, definitely. Just like Jadeveon Clowney was his freshman year. Will he be the number 1 pick 3 years later? That's up to him. And obviously the coaching staff. It isn't phasing me coming on. If he wants to be a Gamecock, good enough. Yeah, I feel the same way, Red. I feel the exact same way. I have no ill will towards the kid. It's his decision. If he doesn't want to come to South Carolina, fair enough. Would I love to have him? Absolutely. But if he doesn't come on, I mean, is what it is at this point. I think everybody's tired of the dragging it out, you know. Like, it's just one thing if he had come out in December and said, look, I'm going to go to LSU. Everybody would have been upset, aggravated, whatever. But it would have been over, and it's not. And we get here, and it's still not over. Clowney sneezed at the line and gave up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the thing about Clowney. When Clowney wanted to come play and wanted to impose his will, he could do it very easily. I don't think he was fully 100% his junior year. Otherwise, I think he really would have been dominant. But against Tennessee and against Clemson, yeah, you could tell when he wanted to turn it on, he could turn it on in a heartbeat. Clowney was one of the best players I ever saw in person. Just that speed. Do you think they should do a lot more trick plays with Joyner playing receiver? I think so. Pick that off. Oh, you got to pick that off. I think so. I kept waiting for it this past year. You know, Muschamp said, like, they had all this stuff for Joyner, and he's going to factor in, and then they maybe hand it to him one time, throw a little screen out to him, and you see him for 1 or 2 plays, and then that was it. You know, I mean, he was hurt. That's fair. Get there. You got to make that tackle. Yeah, we got him. There we go. I think so. I think Joyner, I think with the depth we have at quarterback, bringing in Colin Hill, I think there's a lot to do why they bring in Colin Hill. You have Luke Doty, who I think still going to redshirt, or that's the plan. I think Dak Joyner takes all the reps at wide receiver, but I think he's going to line up in the backfield. You can hand it to him. You can do a reverse and let him throw it. You do double reverses. You know, throw one of them laterals behind the line of scrimmage across the field to him and let him throw it. I think there needs to be a lot of gadget plays with Joyner. Not too much, but I think we need to have those in our back pocket. And I think that he needs to be heavily involved in the offense. I really do. He needs to get at least 8 to 10 touches every single game. Whether that's carrying, catching, throwing it, something. He needs to. Clowney coming to USC was never really in doubt. Everybody, it was between us and Clemson, and I think everybody in the know, if you will, pretty much pegged him to come to South Carolina. And he drug his out all the way to Valentine's Day, which was his birthday. And that was when he committed and signed. And that was a big deal in 2011. How much with that big JUCO running back coming in? I still think, Marshawn Lloyd's on campus now. I'm going to go through the spring. I think Marshawn Lloyd is the starter, running back 1, if you want to call it that. I think he's a starter when we trot out there against Coastal Carolina. I think you'll see all the back. I didn't get this. Should we punt? We punt the football? We'll punt I don't want to give it up on this side of the field. LaQuandre Wright. I think that Lloyd to be the starter. You'll see all the running backs play against Coastal, hopefully. I wrote a piece about that, kind of about something similar to that, on the website Spurs Up Show. You can check the article. I think Laquandre Wright fits in a good bit. I think him and Marshawn Lloyd can make a 1-2 punch. He's the so-called veteran in the running back room now. You know, because you got Marshawn Lloyd, Rashad Amos, they're true freshmen. Kevin Harris is a rising sophomore. Deshaun Fenwick's a redshirt sophomore. So Laquandre Wright has 2 years to play too. He comes in as a junior. He's played. You know, he played at Florida State. He played Iowa Western Community College. This is a guy I think factors into the rotation at running back. Would I be surprised if he's with the ones coming out starting? No, not really. I think he factors in. I think him and Marshawn Lloyd are like Rico Dowdle and Tavian Feaster. I really do. And if he's got the skills, he can also turn a scramble. Dak at wide receiver was throwing Bill reminds me of a play the Bills ran, handing it to John Brown, and Brown threw it to. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things There's a lot of things you can do with that. You think of who's somebody else I was thinking of? You think of Randall Cobb when he played at Kentucky and in Green Bay. Randall Cobb could do everything. I think Dak Joyner can be like that Swiss Army knife. He can, like I said, line up in the backfield. You can put him in at quarterback and run a read option or a speed option with him if you really want to. There's plenty of things they can do to utilize Dak Joyner's speed and athletic ability. I just feel like he needs to be used properly.
He's under pressure,
you know,
and he has it on the corner.
Oh, my goodness. I want us to run the football and be focused on that, but I want us to utilize the strengths of the talent we have. And that's up to Mike Bobo to do that.
We've got a 1st and 10. Ball on the 17-yard line.
What do you think about Karen Joyner as Taysom Hill kind of position? Oh, wow. I didn't even think we busted through like that. As Taysom Hill, yeah, kind of similar. Taysom Hill is just a weird specimen, too. He's got size. He's got speed. He's actually bigger than I thought. He's faster than I thought. Yeah, I mean, I could see it like that. Taysom Hill is I totally forgot about Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill lines up at receiver, tight end, basically, quarterback, running back. Oh, my goodness. Can we get him on the ground? That's unacceptable. Yeah, something similar to that, definitely. Definitely. You want your Bills to get Brian Edwards. Yeah, you said that Monday. For what it's worth, I want the Packers to get him to go alongside Devontae Adams. So there's nothing wrong with that. This is a deep wide receiver class. This is the deepest. I've been following the draft for, oh, wow, almost 20 years, I think. And this is probably the deepest I remember it. I got very fortunate. That may be a makeup for the last play. Because you have, 3 or 4 Alabama receivers. T. Higgins is coming out. You have Jefferson from LSU. And that's probably just the first round. There's plenty of talent. You still got the quarterbacks that are going to go. There's plenty of skill position. And now you're going to give up a touchdown. Plenty of skill position players. Top 5 Gamecocks of this past era. You mean since 2000? I mean, I definitely say Clowney, Connor Shaw, Marcus Lattimore. I think Sidney Rice would have shattered every wide receiver record had he stayed a third year. Just me personally, I was a huge fan of Sidney Rice. Alshon Jeffrey was a difference maker. It's fun. Stephon Gilmore really showed out in the NFL. I don't know if he necessarily had that big of a career at South Carolina, and that's no disrespect to him. I mean, he's definitely developed into a one of, if not the best corner in the league.
And they make the stop at around the 28-yard line.
I mean, I would. Melvin Ingram had a great year. Eric Norwood's another one. I would say I love watching Norwood.
Second down.
Think the D-line can make up for the lack of depth? I think so. I've said it before. I think get around him. I think the D-line will be overall as a whole better, even with losing Javon Kinlaw, which is crazy to say, but I do. I think there's a lot of talent. Obviously, if you add Jordan Birch, it gets even better. But I think with the guys they have coming back, with Ricky Sandage, Zach Pickens, you redshirted Joe Anderson. We brought in Tonka Hemingway. Hopefully, Brad Johnson, Aaron Sterling, all of them can stay healthy. You have Kingsley and Barre. And I just went 3 and out. That was bad. You have talented guys on the defensive front. And I think as a whole, they will be even stronger without the focus being mainly on one player. The linebacking core is pretty thin. That's why they signed. We got the flip commitment signing yesterday, and I think Muschamp said he's going to play him at linebacker. He's, 6'3", 205, and he's put on a little bit of weight, but I think Muschamp pretty much said he'll project at linebacker because I think he admitted we only have 7 scholarship linebackers.
He gets out to about the 35-yard line.
Gilmore even be there even if it was his last year. Yeah, decade, yeah. Okay, so we'll do, yeah. So from 2010, so for the last decade, we'll do Connor Shaw, Marcus Lattimore, Jadeveon Clowney. I'd probably do Gilmore or Swearinger. And then the receiver is a tough one. I love Alshon. I wish Debo had been healthy his entire time. Pharaoh Cooper was a great one. I'll probably go Alshon, and it's crazy to think all of those guys were on the same team. There we go. Yeah, Cordell Stewart, that's another one. Yeah, I didn't even think about Cordell Stewart. That's going a little bit back. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good comparison. Cordell Stewart had a heck of an arm, too. Love Steph. He didn't want to eat. I don't think so either. Ever since he went to the Patriots, of course, a lot of that's Belichick, but he's really showcased how good Gilmore is just balled out the last few years.
In a game that's this close, you can't afford to waste possessions.
Fabian Goodman, I think it's a good pickup. I do. I think it's one of those that's kind of undersold. Nobody really, oh my goodness, nobody really talks about it because of the obvious, his teammate. I think a lot of people forget about Alex Huntley too. Not really forget, but I mean the focus is, and it's starting to kind of pour outside. I hear it now. I think all the focus has been on Birch, and I think a lot of guys are kind of getting lost in the shuffle a little bit and what their impact can be. That'll settle down here soon though. DJ was better in college. I would agree with that. I think as a whole body of work, I think Swearinger was the lifeline of that defense. He was a headhunter. He was a beast. He was the pulse of that entire defense. And he was fun to watch. I agree with that. In terms of a better college career, yes. Gilmore was good. I mean, there's a reason he went, was it 10th or 12th overall pick in the draft that year? I know he went first round, went high first round. There's a reason for that, but I still think Swearinger body of work was just a little bit better, my opinion. Sorry, trying to keep up with the chat here. Do you think an all-time decade South Carolina team could win the national championship? I think that 2012 team was as good as anybody. That night they played Georgia. They jumped all over Georgia. Defensive front was suffocating. That team could play with anybody. They had enough firepower on offense. You had Ace Sanders, Bruce Ellington. That team had plenty of firepower. Then, of course, Marcus went down. That defensive front, that's one of the best. The one in 2011, it's going to get picked, yep. The one in 2011 was defensive front was overall better. I'm going to give up a pick six here. Oh, my goodness, he broke 2 tackles. That was bad by me. 2012 team was, I think, the best. But they had that brutal stretch where they had the big game against Georgia, game day, played that game at 8 o'clock. Had that emotional game, huge win. one of our biggest in history, and follow that up to go to LSU at night, and still like to win that game. And followed that up against Florida, and we just had way too many mistakes in that game. We got so far behind so fast. I remember we fumbled a punt, fumbled a kickoff. We fumbled the first play of the game. It was just, it was sad. That team went 11-2. They could have won the East. They beat the living crap out of Georgia and couldn't go. And their Georgia liked to beat Alabama to go to the national title that year. That was the best team. I think that team could play with almost anybody. Now, even now, they had the defensive front. They had the firepower. If they were completely healthy with a healthy market, I think so. Hold on, sorry guys. I want to keep up with the chat real quick. If we had a college football, yeah, I think so. If they not lost to Tennessee in 2013, they would have been in play. I really do. Tornado. Oh goodness, I hope everything's good. That's it's not good. It's starting to really pour here now, guys. Hopefully my wife gets on here shortly. She's getting off work here in the next probably about 20 minutes. Hopefully she can get home. It's really starting to come down outside. I hope everybody's safe. Everybody stay dry. Yeah, Florida had yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That game against Florida, like I said, Florida didn't have to do anything. I think they only had like 100. Okay, Dak Joyner's balling out. I think Florida only had like 160, 170 yards, scored 44 points. Just because we had so many mistakes. It was extremely frustrating that day. And I wish it had been different because that team deserved a lot more. But just that brutal 3-game stretch. It was just brutal. That Georgia game was lit. That was your first year. Yeah. That and the Alabama game. There it is. There's the beast for a touch. I need to put Zaquandre White on here. And, of course, if somebody would go ahead and do us a favor and sign, I'd put him in this game. Maybe he'll be ready by the LSU game to be on one or the other, right? Yeah, the Georgia game, when Ace ran that pump back, that was – I've never heard Williams Bright that great. And he ran to my side because I sat near that end zone, and I've never in my life seen something like that. That was awesome. That was an awesome night. I remember going home that night thinking we were going to win the national title. I really did. I thought this was it. We had finally turned the corner. And, yeah, you know the rest.
Momentum swings have been fairly even.
Yeah, fumble on the first play, or on the kickoff. The first play was a corner blitz. Yeah.
Tennessee is up a field goal.
Yeah, I remember that. We started I think we started inside our 20 or something like that. And I remember the guy came. That's right. The guy came off the corner, hit Connor, I think, from the blind side. We fumbled. They recovered it at our 1-yard line. And that was the start of that game. That was our biggest game. We would have won the East had we won that game. Because the LSU loss would not have mattered in terms of that at the time. You're getting the band that just went over me. Yeah. It was real cloudy and getting kind of dark before I started streaming. When I got home, and as soon as I started getting going, it just is bottoming out now. Best Carolina I've ever been to. Yeah. The Alabama game, always. That nothing to top that. Just because it was Bama. I need to call a timeout here. Bama just won a national title. Had Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson, Julio Jones on that team, and we took it to them. I remember Jeffrey caught that just a simple go route in front of me, like a fade, and it was. We were up 21-3. I couldn't believe it. Oh, my. Really? Come on, guys.
What happens when you take your eyes off the ball? Concentration for return man is of the utmost importance.
With the lack of elite SEC quarterbacks, do you think Helinski will find himself? Maybe. I think so. I think he'll take a step this year. I really do. I think Helinski will be better in Mike Bobo's offense. I really do. I think we're going to focus more on running the ball. Offensive line's got to come together. They got to come together, be consistent, be I got nothing. Okay, why did he throw it to that side of the field? I won't say where, but I'm close to you. There you go. Yeah, I'm in good old Sumter. Been here my entire life. Yeah, inside the 5, yeah. That's about. I remember they started with like a layup for an easy touchdown. Honest opinion of Helinski. Helinski, he's got talent. I had a wide open receiver, didn't I? He's got arm strength. We've seen it. I think his mechanics, his release is a little different, if that's makes any sense. I think that's coachable. I think he's got to work on his footwork and awareness in the pocket. And that comes. Oh my! I could work on my awareness and footwork there. And I mean, the awareness part, pocket presence is mainly what I want to go with. That comes with being a true freshman. He was thrown into the mix when Jake went down. All of those things I mentioned are very coachable. He's got talent. This kid's got talent. He's got an arm. He's got a leadership quality of being a leader, leadership quality. And I think he can be a great quarterback for us. I really do. I think the talent's there. All that stuff I mentioned is coachable, and that's Mike Bobo's specialty. I think he'll work with Ryan on his footwork. I think he'll work with him on his awareness, which that comes with just playing. You've heard the phrase "the game slowing down for you." That stuff comes, and I think a lot of his stuff is correctable. And added to the fact he was hurt. He was hurt all last year. It was obvious. Who will start, Doty or Helinski? Helinski will start the first game. Barring some injury or he just doesn't grasp the offense or something or another, he'll start. Will he be the starter midway through the year or at the end? That's a different. Pick it off. There you go, JC. There we go, boys. Break the tackle, too. There you go, baby. That may be the spark we need. I think Ryan starts. I really do. I think Doty's going to challenge him, though. Colin Hill, Muschamp said Colin Hill won't be ready till June, so it's going to be Ryan and Luke's game. We'll see, but I think Ryan pulls through. I really do. I hit the wrong button. It didn't matter anyway. I wish he had not caught that.
Sticks with the short passing game, or if they decide to open it up a bit more.
The Gamecocks are going to call their second.
I had somebody wide open on that play, didn't I? Let's see. The catch Alshon made, his first touchdown in that game, and the one-handed when he was getting interfered with that never got called. Yeah, that was Alshon's finest game ever. That and the Clemson game that year too. Definitely. Loudest game was a 17-3 loss to Georgia in '97. Unfortunately, I was there for that too. Wasn't that the game that Andre Goodman got hurt towards ACL? Was it that year? It was either 97 or 98. And I just let the clock run out. I wasn't paying attention. Dang it. Yeah, the catch that he made one-handed with Fitzpatrick, like holding him, dragging him. Yeah, I know I had somebody wide open. Sorry, I playing this, keeping track of the chat too. Shut up, Herb Street. I tried to turn the commentators down. Maybe I need to turn it down more. Surprised he's not saying something good about Father Dabo. You go to church in Sumter? Really? Which church? If you don't mind me asking, if you're comfortable saying that. How do I think Jake's going to do at Utah? I would not be surprised if Jake doesn't ball out and have a good year. I really wouldn't. I'm being completely honest in that. I would not be surprised. Jake is a streaky quarterback, but I think in the right system, I think Jake can be very effective. I think he goes up against defenses out there. The offense is more tailored for him, not to make a lot of reads. He has a set place he throws to. I think it'd be fine. I think it'd be perfectly fine. That's not to say Jake can't run a real offense. He proved here he can. But Jake never really had a consistent running game. There were a lot of things that weren't his fault and were out of his control. Not to mention the drops every single game by the wide receivers. Not taking anything away from Jake. Jake's got talent. I love everything Jake did for South Carolina. Timeout. Yeah, I screwed that up bad at the end of the half. That's me not paying attention. I had Lloyd open there, but I was hoping he'd throw me a block. No reason Ryan would push him. It seemed like the guy would roll over. No, he won't. I think Ryan, the best thing in sports is competition. That's the best thing you can have. Two guys that are going to work hard, that are going to work to push each other. I think it's great. Luke Doty looks like he's an amazing. I had somebody wide open, didn't I? Luke Doty's going to looks like an amazing teammate, amazing kid. And I think competition is a great thing. I think Colin Hill factors into it as well. I think Colin Hill plays this year. I do. You'll see Luke Doty you'll see all the quarterbacks play against Coastal. I'll say that. I'm about 99.9% confident in that. We get a personal foul. Okay. Which quarterback would you rather get drunk with, Shaw or Garcia? To be honest, I don't drink. Just a personal thing. I never really have. Don't have really no interest to. If I had to pick, it'd definitely be Garcia, though. That hands down beats Steven Garcia. And Silver Spur for life. Thank you for the follow, man. Sorry. In the Cherryvale neighborhood. Oh God. Sorry, Cherryvale. That's I know where that is. I understand. I doubt Connor would get trashed. Yeah, I highly doubt it. Garcia be the one to. Garcia seemed like he'd be a good guy to party with. It was Garcia was not out partying for this. I don't know. I don't think a lot of that was on Garcia. I think that SEC championship game was we couldn't stop Cam. Although if you want to refer to the Chick-fil-A Bowl against Florida State, absolutely, we would have won that game. I even said it at the time. Something wasn't right during that game, and it came out later. Whatever he was doing in the hotel room the night before. I really wanted that game against him. Of course, to be fair, if Marcus doesn't get hurt on the first possession, I think we would have been okay. We had tailored the entire game plan around Marcus and went into a funk when he went down, and then we finally started putting it together, getting back in that game, and then I think Florida State converted like 3 or 4 third downs on that drive and scored to go up by 9 again. And we never recovered. Any news on Jordan? I wish I knew, man. I'm waiting just like you guys. I'm waiting to get on the internet and see, hey, Jordan Burt's letter of intent found on Dabo Swinney's desk. Letter of intent to South Carolina. That'd be great. But I know as much as you guys at this point, I'm afraid. Utah's a perfect play situation. Utah's quarterback senior. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think Utah's a good – I should have handed it all and went to the well too many times. Yeah, I think Utah's a good opportunity for Jake. I think Jake does well out there. I hope he stays healthy. I hope he does. I really do. I really, really, really hope Jake does well. And my cat's like all over me, all over the laptop.
From the 14-yard line.
I hope Champ is watching this Joyner balling out at receiver. There you go. Hey, I hope he is.
Now he's scrambling.
Oh, that was it, boys. God, that was it. I give Champ some notes on some offense stuff if he wants. Use your playmakers, man. That's what you got to do. Why was Joyner holding? Where is – sorry, just catching up here. Don't you think it's depressing when we have to talk about 2010, yeah, believe me. Believe me, Clay. I do. It's awful dwelling on something that happened 7 years ago. Well, it started 10 years ago. It's frustrating, and nobody wants to get back to that more than me. Well, all Gamecock fans. I want to care about football again. Not care is not the word. I want to be happy, be satisfied with football again. That 4-year stretch, like, it was the best time. It honestly was. Going to the games, went to the first Capital One Bowl when we beat Nebraska. Awesome experience, and it was great. Now we're not even relevant. It's sad, and it's harder to swallow with somebody else being so perfect. Make the tackle. There you go. Let's see what else we got. How do guys like Mason Rudolph and Hill wind up out of state? Mason Rudolph, we never recruited him. I don't understand it. I don't. Had him not even, an hour or two away. We didn't even recruit him. Now, he benefited from the system at Oklahoma State. Could he have came here and done well? Sure. Would he have? I mean, nobody knows. I think he would have been better than what we had. Sure. Definitely. But, I mean, he definitely benefited in Mike Gundy's system too. And they don't play defense in the Big 12. If you could get one player to come back and would love to watch again, who would it be? Either Sidney Rice or Alshon Jeffrey. They were my favorite. If I had to pick one, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. I'd probably go Sidney Rice. Sidney Rice was my favorite. I'd throw Deuce Staley in there too. I love watching Deuce. And Steve Tannehill. That was when I was really young. But if you told me I could only pick one, it'd be Sidney Rice. I love watching Sidney. Jump balls were his specialty. He was a treat to watch in Spurrier's offense. Ooh, I just wish he had stayed in his third year.
He'll kill you all game, but they got excellent pressure on that play.
Yeah, Cherryville, but I do go to what is likely the first church integrated in Sumter County. Oh, really? Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, nothing really wrong with Cherryville.
Doyle is waiting for the snap.
Yeah, it's not us doing well. It's the team we won't mention that's, ESPN's love child. That makes it a little more frustrating. Definitely.
I think it says something about the quality of the preparation of both teams.
Might want to ban. Yeah, definitely. They're spamming dumb stuff in the chat. I don't understand. 9-5, 11-2, 11-2, 11-2. Yep, that was a big 4-year stretch. Big 4-year stretch. Get rid of it. God, I can't get rid of it. Connor was your. Yeah, Connor is a B. It was great to see him at the basketball game this past Saturday too. Received the largest and loudest ovation, and well-deserving. Connor's a legend. Connor was a beast to watch as well. I just have some personal ones that I enjoyed watching over the years. Oh, my goodness. Tannehill, yes, sir. Love watching Steve. Remember Steve when he was a freshman. Watched all 4 years. Steve was great. That 95 offense, that offense in 95 was amazing. We just had no freaking defense. There it is. That's legit. There's a bomb. There you go. Throw some bombs today. I tried that Operation Sports thing, but I didn't know how to get on the phone. What I told you the last time? Did they have a offline file for Xbox? I'm gonna look into that too. And I'll let you know what I find. You're doing it on Xbox 360. Is it Xbox or PS3? I can't. I'm pretty sure you said Xbox.
He sends this one deep.
Does Muschamp have the hottest seat in the SEC this year?
And it goes into the end zone, down for a touchback.
Yes.
The Gamecocks continue
I think
to
so.
get it done on the defensive side of the football, Kirk.
Done a good job of building this lead and almost determined
Some people would say Derek Mason,
they can
but
hold on here for the rest of the
yeah, I don't really know you call Vandy a real hot
There's
seat.
still plenty of time to keep running their
Even though I
offense
don't
as
I
usual
don't
here.
I don't
They
think
need to
so.
feel any anxiety about trailing.
Let's see. I keep forgetting Mike Leach is in the SEC now at Mississippi State, and then you got Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. Saban ain't on anybody's hot seat. Malzahn kind of would be, but not hotter than Muschamp, I don't think. And what's his name? Jeremy Pruitt. They went to a bowl game and won their bowl game, so he's not on any hot seat. Missouri's got Drinkowitz. Mark Stoops isn't on any hot. Yeah, I'd say Muschamp's hot. And I put an article out on the website Spurs Up Show, if you guys saw it, spursupshow.com, that South Carolina has to start 3-0 next season. They want to have any shot at having a good year. If Will Muschamp wants to cool off that seat, they got to start 3-0. You can't lose to East Carolina at home. I don't think you can lose to Missouri at home.
That's a nice 6-yard gain.
Missouri, they lost Kelly Bryant. Barry Odom's not there. Yes, Drinkowitz, I think, is a good coach. They're going to be breaking in a new system. Granted, we could be breaking a new offensive system. We have them at home. There's no if you're going to win 7-8 games, you got to win that game. The back end of the schedule is too brutal. You have to. And I feel like if he loses one of those two, the heat starts turning up. They lose to Kentucky. They'll probably end up losing to Florida on the road. It'd be awkward if he got fired after the Florida game. You know? I don't know. He's definitely going to go into it with the hottest seat in the conference. I would think so. I like watching some of the old games from the 90s. Oh, yeah. I like watching the ones from the Card Quest Bowl that I saw. Or watching Deuce Staley run in 96 against Clemson. Or in the Georgia game, I know I've seen that highlight, that 50-something yard run he had. Deuce was a beast. It's a shame we only had him for 2 years. And Anthony Wright got hurt his senior year. Or not his senior year. He got hurt in 97.
Gets out to around the 25.
Thought they should have. Or how are Kiffin and Leach going to change the look of the SEC? I'm curious how Mike Leach is going to fit in. I really do. Will his offense work against Bama, LSU, Auburn? They're in the toughest conference. I think Lane Kiffin's going to bring in some talent.
Makes the first down catch.
He's a great. Oh my God, he's a great offensive mind. They both are. It'll be interesting, and I mean it kind of sucks. They could be going head to head too. I think if I had to pick which one would probably be more successful or how they're going to do, I think Lane Kiffin does pretty well at Ole Miss. I think he can recruit. Will he stay? Mike Leach is the intriguing one, too, with his offense. Will his offense work? I don't know. He's got to get the talent, too, especially at receiver. But I think it's going to be a nice change of pace, especially if Saban leaves here in a few years. You know, what's Alabama going to do? Okay, you said Xbox 360. You have the offline when you try to download. It says I don't have you don't have access. That's odd. Let me look into it, and I'll get back to you. How about that? Let me look into that, see if I can download it. Because I only did the online. I didn't look at the offline. I'll look into it and see. I don't know something about access. Maybe you got to register for the message board and download it or something. Maybe I'm not sure. Let's see. Do you think we'll go 7-5? It's possible. We could go anywhere from 4-8 to 7-5. If they start 3-0, I think there's a potential to start 5-1. I really do. You probably lose to Florida. Oh my! He stepped out of bounds. You probably lose to Florida. You got to beat Kentucky on the road, Tennessee at home, like this. It's possible. And then beat Wofford and Vandy. Maybe try to clip Georgia or A&M. I don't think you have a shot in the other road games. They can, if that answers your question. We can. We definitely can. But a lot's got to happen. Only hot Saban would be on if he sat on a hot grill. Yeah, you're right about that. Feel bad for Herlinsky getting thrown in there. Yeah, definitely. It's a tough situation for anybody. I get to pass off. Yes! Oh, my goodness. Rip. It was tough for him. You know, his second game he's playing Alabama. His third game he's playing Missouri on the road with a hurt elbow. And got hurt again in the Georgia game. And then all the receivers get hurt. He has almost nobody to throw the football to, especially when Brian Edwards went down. It was just a horrible situation for him to be in. And he's a resilient kid. He'll bounce back this year. He'll bounce back in a big way. We'll be watching. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Will Marshawn and Saquandre be the 1 and 2 starters? I think so, Clay. I do. I think they're gonna be I think they're gonna be like Tavian Feaster and Rico Dowdle, to be honest. I really do. I think you'll mix in Kevin Harris and Deshaun Fenwick some. I think Rashad, if all holds well, I think Rashad Amos probably red shirts. But I think Zaquandre White and Marshawn Lloyd are your 1 and 2s. Which one will be 1 and 2? I think Lloyd ends up being the 1, but I think they're interchangeable. I really do. We're going to be watching Mississippi State because of Leach. Yeah. Oh, Mike Leach is a character. He's great. His press conferences are great. I hope his offense translates to the SEC, just not against us. I think Mike Leach is a great addition to the SEC. Definitely one of those hires that I was kind of like, what? They're the ones who ended up with Mike Leach? It's like watching us get burned in the secondary. Yeah, remember the Tennessee game this past year? Oh, my goodness. 98, I went to the 38-0. Yeah, Mississippi State. I remember that. I think they ran the opening kickoff back. Yeah, it was hot. I remember that too. Got sunburned.
He takes it at the 12. He's to the 20.
Yeah, we got obliterated. 38-0. I think they ran the opening kickoff back, if I remember correctly. What record do you think Carolina needs to have for Muschamp to get out of the hot seat? 7-5. I think. I don't think you can do 6-6 and say we made progress. Yeah, you went 4-8 last year. I don't really believe. I don't really believe 6-6 because that would mean you beat Coastal, East Carolina, probably Missouri, Vandy, Wofford, and then somebody else. And if you get annihilated in all the other big games, I don't see how you justify that as progress. And I just realized I need to get Marshawn Lloyd going here. My niece is at ECU, grab fun times. Remember the last time we played ECU? Muschamp's, third game his first year? I think East Carolina had like 500 yards of offense. We jumped on them 17-0, and then we were hanging on by a thread. They got in the red zone like 6 times. Rico did not live up. No, I don't think he did either. And he was hurt. He was always hurt. But after his freshman year, I thought Rico Dowdle was going to be like our next 1,000-yard rusher, our running back for the next 3 years. I thought he was going to be really good. The potential was there. He never could just put it on the field. And like I said, he was hurt. He was always hurt. I should have hit X, but I'm going to take a shot here, boys. There it is. Keyshawn Toney. Another bomb. Helinski first season is an outlier with all the injuries. Yeah. We got to do something about the injuries. I hope Paul Jackson and the strength and conditioning team, they figure out what's going on. We can nail down what is the issue, and can we just have an injury-free year? I know injuries happen, They suck. They're aggravating. They're unfortunate. A lot of guys, very unfortunate, injury-prone, injury history. But we got to have 1 year we stay healthy, right? That question, you think if players are allowed to get endorsed in the future, does that make Columbia a bigger spot to go than maybe Clemson? I'm afraid Clemson can. I don't. It could be. I don't know how you put a cap on something like that. You say we're going to give you what? A percentage of every jersey with your number and name sales on it. What's to stop a booster from saying, hey, you sign with us, I'm going to buy 10,000 of your jerseys. You know, and you get $5-10 a pop. What's to stop that? And he buys them under an anonymous or for a school or for some camp or club or you know what I mean? I think it's more so going to pertain to the donors and the fan base. Columbia a bigger attraction than Clemson? Yeah. In that sense of the question, yes. Definitely. But Clemson has their tight-knit, cult-like community. Seem to say last time that GameStop would jack up the price. I don't know about GameStop. I know online they would. GameStop, I don't know. I don't even know if they'd even have it in store. They might. It's just because this game is rare. You're not going to buy a brand new copy without paying, you know, a penny, and they know it. People can jack up the price. It's just like anything that has been out for a long time that doesn't have a new iteration like this. I mean, we haven't had a new game in this. This is going on 7 years now. They can jack the price up. What are you going to do about it? You're either going to pay it or you're not going to, you know, you're not going to play it. That's just the name of the game. Like I said, I don't know if GameStop does that in their store, but I know on Amazon there's people price gouging. I've seen the game go up for over $100 for used. We haven't had 1,000-yard rusher, since Mike Davis. That's right. That is correct. I think Marshawn Lloyd can be that guy. I thought Rico Dowdle was that person. That's a big sack. That's a big sack. I thought Rico Dowdle was that person, and he never really came that close. Mike Davis was a beast. Especially that 2013 season. 2014, we just got way too pass happy, which was fair. I mean, we had the receivers. It was built around Dylan Thompson. Something with Carolina, we get hurt too much. Yeah. Oh, there's a much deeper issue with that. You don't have that many injuries and there not being some common denominator. Last year was on defense, or 2018 it was on defense. This past year was on offense. And it seems to always be at the same position. Oh, he fumbled. That's turnover on downs, wasn't it? Big sack. Let's go, boys.
The whistle hasn't sounded yet. They still have to snap the ball.
We don't say that team, we say that other school. Yeah, you're right, Blake. You're absolutely right. We don't mention that team. Yeah, I think so too, Cobra. Mike never got the touches he deserved. I think that in the 2014. Go back to that Kentucky game the first time in that streak, the first time we lost to him in the streak. We were up by 2 scores, and we got pass happy. We were up, what was it, 38-24, had almost 300 yards on the ground. There it is. Oh, thought he broke that. Had almost 300 yards on the ground, and we were just throwing it all over the place. Dylan threw a pick, then he threw a pick 6. Then the next thing you know, we had to throw. And he threw another pick. You had to stick with what worked.
First and 10.
I agree.
On the 15-yard line.
I completely agree. I think Mike Davis wasn't utilized right, or not enough. Would be the right thing. Don't forget Carolina hockey stops SC. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. Unfortunate for the basketball team last night. I want to give a hats off to Mike Coatsar, though. Mike and Jermaine Cousinard. I think he had, 25, 28 points. Mike played a great game, both ends of the court. Really hustled, really grinding inside, getting some big boards. What happened to A.J. Lawson, though? Like, that was a game I expect him when we're down by 8 to 10 points. He needs to take over. And it never happened. We had the chance, I think, with 5-6 minutes left. We were down by 8. We missed a 3 in the corner, and it was never single digits again. And it was just unfortunate because I really thought we had something going. We needed that win. But it isn't over. We need to beat A&M. We can't have any more slip-ups. Have to start with beating A&M Saturday. And South Carolina will take the 31-24 W on this to move to 5-1 to go into the open date. And we start the brutal half of the schedule here soon, which will actually be Monday because I think we play A&M Monday, if I remember correctly.
I'm Brad Nessler. We'll see you soon for another edition of NCAA Football 14.
Let's see. I know it's early, but we're a decent 7-5 team. Don't you think we could upset LSU? I know it sounds crazy. They do lose a lot. You're absolutely right. They lose a lot. It's at LSU. That's the only reason I don't know. That's not to say it can't happen. Crazier things have happened. I don't personally see it, but that doesn't mean it's out of the realm of possibility. If it's a night game, I don't even want to think about it if it's a night game. We have to be playing well. That's a brutal environment. I think 7-5 is very, very possible. Didn't I throw a pick 6 in this game? I hit a couple bombs to make it big. That's what I want. I want to go 7-5. I want to look good in the big games. And go to a bowl game. Show up this time. Do not have another belt bowl. Another repeat of it. Show up. Beat a decent team there. Go 8-5, and I'll be happy. I think the outlook for 2021 will be very bright. I think it'll be great. And that's what I want. And then 2021, we take that next step. You can sell progress if you go 7-5, go to a bowl, show up to the bowl game this time, please. I do not want another belt bowl, a repeat of it. It was awful. It was completely unacceptable. On every way imaginable, that game was unacceptable. I feel so many potential good players come to Carolina and do not live up to expectations. Definitely. I completely agree. I 1,000% agree. I remember Shaq Rowland, since we're talking about a few years ago with Mike Davis. Shaq Rowland had all the talent in the world. Now, he had some other issues, some personal issues, but I feel like Shaq Rowland could have been a really good one. He had talent. He had size. He had decent speed. He was a decent route runner, but he had problems. He had issues. I thought Shameik Blackshear was going to be good on the defensive front. I really think they wasted Tyson Williams. And Tyson Williams went to TCU, and it was unfortunate he got hurt. Feel for him. I think Tyson Williams was the most talented back on that roster in 2018 and 2017, and they always stuck with Rico Dowdle. It was a little mind-boggling to me. I like Mon Denson. I like Mon Denson, but Mon Denson's just more of a north-south runner. He really didn't. I don't want to say he didn't have vision, but he kind of just put his head down and went into the pile like a bull in a china shop. You know? I mean, Mon Denson was great. I mean, you knew what you were getting with him, but I felt like Tyson Williams was the best back. I'll give you somebody else that got wasted last year. He was hurt, go figure, was A.J. Turner. We kept hearing A.J. Turner was going to play corner. He played special teams. I know he was good enough, healthy enough to play games because I saw him on the punt team. And then he never played running back. They put him in at the end of the last game that I won't mention who he played. The last game of the year, he had the last few carries. I feel like he was wasted. A.J. Turner was a good back. I know they needed depth at corner, but he never played. Playmaker's not getting the ball enough. Exactly, Cobra. Exactly. Completely agree. They focused on getting Brian Edwards the football this past year, which was good. I like that. Definitely, 1,000% agree. You need to get Shi Smith the ball. He should have, I say, 7 to 10 targets a game. Dak Joyner should have been getting the ball. Throw the ball. And I also felt like we didn't throw to the backs enough. Maybe they just couldn't catch the ball. Tavian Feaster should have been used in the screen game more. Tavian Feaster was a beast. He was great. I don't feel like he was wasted. He was hurt. I wouldn't say I think he was totally wasted. But I felt like we should have thrown to the backs more. I think Saquandre White will be used in the passing game more, though. We're too conservative. Sin need to open it up. Yeah, we're definitely conservative. A lot of times we didn't understand like what we're doing on offense, and I don't know. We got way too conservative in games, and like I don't know. We were just real inconsistent with play calling. I never understood what we were doing, what we were trying to do. We lived and died by big plays. We were never a team that just, in spurts this past year we did, but 2018 especially, we never were a team that drove the length of the field. We lived and died by chunk plays. If we didn't get them, we weren't successful on offense. And this past year, if we got behind the chains, we were punting. That was just the way it was. If we had a negative play on first down, it usually meant we're going 3 and out and we're punting the ball. It's just the way it was. Great win, good defensive stop at the end. Thank you, Blake. That was a big sack on third down. That was our fourth down. That was big. Good way to close it out. I do not want to play in Charlotte to start the season. Yeah, you and me both. I'm sick of playing in Charlotte. Stupid. Hey, went up there and laid the biggest egg in that bowl game, and then I just knew we'd come out against North Carolina, assert ourselves. This was payback. We were back in Charlotte, and yeah, we'd turn around and lose to North Carolina. You sat through the Belt Bowl. I really, really, really feel for you. I regret wasting 3 hours of my life watching it at home. I'm sorry. I have never been that upset at a South Carolina sporting event than I was that day. The defense played almost as bad as I expected. Virginia only had one receiver. We couldn't stop him. But whatever, I kind of expected that. But to lay a goose egg, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I thought Tyson was going to be our next 1K rusher. He could have been. I really do think he could have been. I think Tyson had a lot of talent, and I just felt like he was not used properly. I really don't. And it is. You're absolutely right. It's very disappointing to waste talent. I really hope that we do not waste this talent this year. I think there's talent in that wide receiver group. We have not seen the production. Guys have not lived up to it. I think Josh Vann has talent. I've said it before. I think he's got a lot of talent. Just the light hasn't come on. Big day for Ryan Holinsky. My goodness. Had the really bad pick six that was more on me. But 385 yards, that's a big day. I didn't really get into the running game in this one. Dak Joyner, though. Look at that. Xavier Legette had the big one. Keyshawn Toney had a big one. Josh Vann with a solid catch. Pretty much sums that up. But Josh Vann has talent. Ortre Smith can't stay healthy and stay on the field. Shi Smith, I don't think is a number one receiver, but I think he's somebody you still need to get the football to. Dak Joyner, somebody you need to get the football to. I think Xavier Legette can develop. Chad Terrell hasn't really been on the field. Randricus Davis has been hurt almost every year. There's talent at tight end too. I think they lost a lot when Keel Pollard went down. Nick Muse, I'm not really going to comment on him. Markway was a solid blocker and a decent enough receiver. We got freshmen at tight end. There's talent there. Can they use it? Can guys step up? That's a big question. Yeah, Tyson went to BYU. I hated that he got hurt. Did I say TCU? I said TCU, didn't I? I meant BYU. Yeah, Blackshear went to TCU. And Tyson got hurt towards ACL, was it, I think? Very unfortunate for him. Feel like in college the biggest thing is getting a great coach, brings in players different. Yeah. Does Muschamp really have that potential? He has not shown it in his time at Florida and his time here. He has shown he is a great recruiter. I'm not going to question that. I don't think many people would question that. I have to go a different route and say depending on the Birch thing, obviously, which this is starting to seem like this is obviously out of his control. But I have to give Muschamp credit for holding this class together, bringing in some guys. We got a flip yesterday, brought in another running back. And another receiver. I have to give him credit for bringing in this class from a 4-8 season. Nobody questions the man's work ethic and his recruiting, ability. He's great. Can it translate on the field? Is he an X's and O's guy? A lot of people, he was a highly regarded defensive coordinator. He's had success in big schools. I think he needs to take a step back and just be head coach. I know he's a defensive guy. I think he's coaching the linebackers now, or one of the linebacking units, along with the safeties, or he was. And it's like, stay out of the game plan. I think definitely stay out of the offense. Let your coordinator hire great assistants. Let them coach. You be the head coach. You be the recruiter. Stay out of the way. Let your assistants do what they're paid good money to do. And I hope he does that this season. But with that said, this is Muschamp's last chance. He fails this year and he gets fired. He won't be a head coach again at this level. That's not me speculating. That's a fact. He just won't. It wasn't a great year to be a Gamecock fan. Yeah. You're right. Between baseball, men's basketball, and then the football, yeah, it's been tough. We got the women though. We got the women. They are amazing. But men's sports, completely agree. Someone send a clip to Muschamp. Yeah. I don't think Tyson got a legit shot. I really don't. Was it the A&M game in year before last? He broke like a 20-yard run or two 20-yard runs, and then they take him out. He wouldn't play again, or he'd come back in a lot later. And they're always talking about, we're going to stick with whoever has the hot hand. And Tyson has the hot hand, but hey, let's Rico Dowdle in. And then Rico fumbles or drops a pass or something, and then you know the rest. Dak at wide receiver confirmed. Did I just get up a lot? Did I just create a lot of hype for Dak at wide receiver? Somebody's going to send these stats to Muschamp, Mike Bobo. You met Dak at a Fort Dorchester game. How was he? He seems like a great kid. Great kid. What's up with Dak? Is he a quarterback or wide receiver? They have him at quarterback on this. I put him in at running back. I would still plan on using him like in some option, like I did Monday, where I put him in and I kind of threw it all over the place, let him run. I'm using him as a Swiss Army knife, but right now he's my slot receiver. This is a great class without Birch. I agree. I think it's still a solid class. I think people are going to be let down with Birch because he's the big name. And, that's fair, but I still think this is a solid class. You got your quarterback. You got a handful of running backs. You're still bringing in some talent on that D-line. I think it's a solid class without him. A lot of people are going to be, upset if we don't get him, and, that's fair. But, yeah, I agree. I think it's still a good class. With hiring Bobo, do you think they did that to replace Muschamp if he fails? I don't think so. I think if this year goes like last year, I think they clean house. Totally. Start over. Didn't play another down. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. You talking about with Tyson? I remember the A&M game. He had one or two really big carries that were great, and then I didn't see him again the rest of the quarter. Like, you wouldn't see him again. I was just like, where is Tyson? And then at the end of the year, remember Muschamp kept saying Tyson had a hand injury or something, but he's fine, he can play. He never did. So either he was underselling that injury, or Tyson was. Look at the statistics. My goodness. Ryan Olinsky, Jamie Robinson had the big sack and the forced fumble. We made some ball plays. Ray Tanner. I don't think that they fire Ray during the season, just in the event that it goes south and they have to replace Muschamp too, because I don't think you want to be looking for an AD and then have to turn around real quick. He's got to hire a head coach, and then you got to put together a recruiting class or salvage a recruiting class. But if the men missed a tournament, which is likely now, if they go south, the baseball team doesn't work out. Hope Chris isn't listening to me say that. But no, I mean, let's just say that doesn't work out. I think Ray Tanner's. I think it's getting real hot. I think it's getting really, really hot. And I mean, I think he lives and dies with Muschamp though, because I mean, is he going to make a third hire at baseball if Kingston doesn't work out? You don't want him picking another coach. I mean, can he do it? That's the thing, You want him hiring another baseball coach? He inherited Martin and Don Staley. Ray was a great baseball coach, all-time great. Agreed. I completely agree, Blake. All-time great, legend baseball coach. Best 3-year run I've ever watched. Great, just legend. But yeah, he's not AD. He's a good fundraiser. He's got a lot of credit for what Hyman did, what Hyman put in place. Because all the men programs have went downhill. What's up with the soccer team? I don't follow the soccer a lot. I like soccer, but I mean, Mark Burson should have. I know Mark Burson's been there forever. He practically built the program. Yeah, if you want to say he did. But soccer team should not be bad. I don't care that they play in the Conference USA. We should have a dominant soccer team. But I don't think they care about it. Yeah, he hasn't made a good hire. Yeah, Don was before him. Yeah, you're right. Hyman hired Don. Hyman hired Martin too. Yeah, Tanner got credit for the national title, and that he never hired Don. It's just I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy to me. I like Ray Tanner. I love what he did for University of South Carolina as a baseball coach, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the baseball team comes out and they're really good. We make the postseason. We go to Super Regional. I don't know if we go to Omaha, but I want to give Kingston a fair chance. I want to give Mark Kingston a fair chance. I think he can turn it around. It's not going to be easy, especially in the SEC with Vandy, Florida. Vandy in baseball is practically what we were. And that's the part that's hard for me. I forever love him for what he did as coach. Yeah, me too. Like I said, at 2010, 2011, 2012, up until, they lost to Arizona and the championship, that was the most awesome baseball. We ran out of pitching in that one. That team didn't have the big hitting like Arizona did, and we ran out of it in that, unfortunately. But that was a heck of a run for 3 years. Baseball is predicted to finish fourth. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's hard. The SEC, the East is hard. Vandy is amazing. Yeah, I think Kingston, like I said, I think Kingston can be – I think he is a good coach. I think I was reading a lot what Chris was talking about it, because Chris really, follows, and he's real close down, close to what's going on with the baseball team. And he really thinks we got a lot of arms this year, which we didn't have last year. and he's real sold on we will be better this year. And like I said, I give Kingston benefit of the doubt. I hope it goes well. I really do. And we need the arms. We really do. Yeah, Arizona was, unfortunately. And that was the thing. They just had better hitting. We ran out of pitching. That second game, we were playing our baseball. It was 1-1, I think it was. You know, we had Mike Roth coming out there throwing his stuff. We were in that game, and then they put Matt Price in, who I love, who is from Sumter, is from right here in Sumter. And the problem is Matt Price threw a lot of heat, and Arizona crushed it. That was not a good matchup for us because they crushed Matt Price, and we didn't have the firepower to come back after that, and it sucked. Do you think Primetime Sun being in Columbia will be helpful? You mean in terms of recruiting? At Miss, was that a week or two ago with that crap with him getting a tryout? I mean, it brings exposure, I don't know the whole deal with that with him trying out with the baseball. He didn't get a fair shot. They think he got a fair shot. I think that kind of got blown out of proportion. I think that kind of got taken the wrong way for all around a team and future recruiting. Yeah, sure. I think so. It definitely helps. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have somebody like Dion, his kid. He's got other sons, too, that play. That was a crap show. Yeah, the thing with Shiloh. It was just a big misunderstanding. Somebody took what Kingston said and took it out of context. And, yeah, you see what happened. Your 17-1-1 hockey team, number 1, playing an SEC tournament tomorrow at 3. Go to YouTube, search Gamecock Hockey live video. Tomorrow's Friday. I will do that. Yeah, out of context. Yeah, definitely. It got taken out of context. I'll look into the hockey stuff. I'm not a big hockey guy. I know some of you guys are, and that's great. But we're in the tournament. We need to watch it and support them. Definitely. Go Cox. Anyway, I'm going to get off of here. Everybody stay safe. Stay dry. Stay out of the wind. Hopefully nobody loses power or didn't lose power. You guys have a good night. We will do it again Monday. You stay tuned. Spurs Up Show on Twitter and me at Cheese Cutter. I know some of you guys already follow me. You stay tuned, and hopefully Birch will be a Gamecock. We have the good news soon. So stay tuned, guys. We'll see you Monday night. Have a good night. Go Cox.